The Christ Letters, with enhanced narration and text. Letter 2.6. My state of consciousness after illumination in the desert. Whereas before I moved amongst people selfishly and empty-handed, taking their goodwill and sometimes their handouts with little gratitude, I came now with an abundance of life-giving possibilities for everyone who was prepared to listen to my words and take action to improve his quality of life. I want you who are reading these pages to fully understand my position at that time, my state of consciousness after my illumination in the desert, and the persona I presented to my countrymen as Jesus. There have been so many conjectures that I am about to give you the truth. I was born to have, when mature, a fine physique, strong aquiline features, a remarkable intellect, and a love of mimicry and laughter. But, like so many of you today, I took no care of my earthly talents. At the time of going into the desert, my face and manners were what you might call downgraded from what they should have been. Whilst I had begun to examine and rebel against what I had become, my intellect had also suffered from misuse, constantly engaged in arguments and dissensions over religion, and indulging in flippant speech. I made people laugh. I was liked by the men and women I mixed with, but certainly not respected. Hence the astonishment of those who had known me when I spoke to them in the synagogue in Nazareth. Whilst my mother nursed me back to good health, I made powerful use of the knowledge and enlightenment given me in the desert. This restored me to the man I was meant to be. When I started my mission, I was fully aware that I was the only one with the supreme knowledge of the secrets of creation and existence itself. Therefore, I could say with perfect confidence, no one has seen the Father but me. I knew that all that men believed in so wholeheartedly was false, not real. I knew that I had been specially fashioned and designed by the Father for this mission. I had been blessed abundantly with the physical energy, vitality of speech, and the ability to devise meaningful parables, to enable me to pass on the message successfully and in a form that would never be forgotten. Besides which, I understood my fellow men so well from long association with them that I knew their fondest hopes, their most desperate fears. I knew what made them laugh and prompted them to mockery and derision of the rich and pompous. And I knew also how deeply so many, young and old, suffered silently and bravely. I knew and experienced deep compassion for the populace which lived in fear of, or endured, the verbal whiplash of Pharisees, and bowed down to the tax laws of the Romans. I knew how their proud Jewish spirit was bruised by the conquering Gentiles, whom they were forced to honour with their lips and hand and knee salutations, yet whom they despised behind closed doors. I knew and fully understood the lives and thinking of the populace. I had previously thought their thoughts, felt their resentments, endured their kind of anxieties in times of lack, felt powerless in the grip of the Roman governance. I now knew that none of this suffering was really necessary. Knowing as I did the reality of existence, the reality of universal God, I could clearly perceive the foolishness of the Jews in authority, who were imposing a burdensome way of life upon the populace, which was wholly erroneous and in direct contradiction of the truth of being. The situation made me deeply angry. Therefore, I knew I had been perfectly fashioned and honed to become a purified instrument of divine action in Palestine, driven by my passion for truth and driven by my compassion for my fellow human beings. Hence, I called myself Son of Man, because I knew exactly what mankind was up against in their daily lives. Furthermore, I had perfect confidence I could achieve my objectives of bringing truth to the people, and thus be instrumental in changing the quality of their lives. For that reason, although I knew right at the outset of my mission there would be a penalty to pay for all I proposed to do, turn the known Jewish world upside down and inside out, I was prepared to face up to it, go through it, could not evade it, because I loved people with Father love flowing through my heart and being. For Father love is the essence of giving, giving itself into visible being and visible existence and growing, protecting, nourishing, healing, and fulfilling all the needs of all creation made visible. I knew I was the Father's gift of salvation to the people, to the world. Not, as they supposed and taught down the centuries, salvation from the punishment meted out by an angry God to sinners, but to save people from the daily repetition of the same mistakes in wrong thinking which created their misfortunes, poverty, sickness, and misery. Because I loved the human race so deeply, I was prepared to teach and heal in defiance of the Jewish priests. I was prepared to die on the cross for what I had truly seen in the desert, knew with all my heart, and wanted to share to the last drop of my ability to do so. This is the truth behind my crucifixion, and all the rest you've heard is man-made conjecture, arising out of the Jewish practice of burnt offerings in the temple. I was a gift from the Father to mankind, to help them surmount their ignorance of the laws of existence and find the true path of life, leading to the joy, abundance, and perfect wholeness of the kingdom of heaven. These were the perceptions, the desires, the intentions, and goals, and the thoughts which I bore within my mind and heart. This was the earthly, mental, emotional framework clothing my spiritual consciousness, hidden within the head and figure of Jesus. It was my spiritual consciousness channeled into the above forms of thought and feeling which impelled me to set out on a 3-year journey to bring the people what I fully believed was final rescue from their own blind thinking and feeling, which were creating their own troubled lives. I truly believed that if only the people could be shown all that had been given to me to understand, they would realize their past folly and would make every effort to change their thinking and put foot to the path of life, leading to the kingdom of heaven. To this end, I was prepared to give my life.